A $6 billion agreement for the Commanders. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Byron Scott. Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder agrees to a preliminary deal to sell his team. The deal would sell the team to an ownership group that includes Philadelphia 76ers co-owner Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, and Mitchell Rales. The price tag is expected to be around $6 billion, but the final price tag has not yet been confirmed.
It's good that he finally sold it because he wasn't doing the team any justice owning it, because the team's been horrible since he's owned it, because the leadership has been horrible since he's had it. And that's why they never go to the playoffs.
For the city, so it's best that somebody come and get a winning team back on the road, get the players and the finances straight, and then we can build and we can, have something to cheer for, because sports is important. People don't understand. People love sports, and when you lose, it's no fun.
And since 2000, Snyder's football team has garnered a record of 154 wins and 214 losses, while earning just one playoff victory in 23 seasons. State Attorney Aisha Brayboy says the pandemic has impacted the reporting of child abuse cases in the county. She says while abuse reports declined, the problem has been ongoing. Teachers, counselors, and healthcare providers are required by law to report instances of abuse, but they aren't always as accessible, she says they were not during the pandemic. Now that children are back in school, the reporting of abuse cases has gone back up.
We interviewed over 300 kids in the last year for forensic interviews. And remember, we're under the Department of Social Services, so we deal primarily with child abuse cases. Anyone that has care and custody of a child under the age of 17, they're brought to our center for forensic interview if there's an allegation of abuse, as well as sexual assault cases of children.
We work very closely with our school system, with our hospital system, as well as partners like Kathy and the Child Advocacy Center to investigate and also to provide services to children who are victims, as well as the non-offending parents who are victims also in this whole scenario.
Meantime, Brayboy says a preliminary hearing is set for later in May for Kayla Greenwell, the Oxon Hill daycare worker charged with filming herself abusing toddlers. Well, Maryland's former Attorney General apologizes to victims of the Catholic child sex abuse scandal. Brian Frosch says he regrets how long it took his office to finalize its investigation of sexual abuse by clergy in the Archdiocese of Baltimore. The apology came during his first interview since a redacted report was released earlier this month. Frosch spoke during a roundtable discussion with journalists and survivors.
I will tell you, though, that those 4 years cost me greatly, and there were some very dark times during those 4 years.
I'm so sorry, Gloria. I wish we had done it faster.
The report documented the sexual abuse and torture of more than 600 children and younger adults over some 80 years. It also documented the ways in which the church protected abusers. Well, Montgomery County is cracking down on drivers who disregard pedestrian safety. The Street Smart Safety Enforcement Program hosted a press conference this morning in Wheaton. Officials say they're making several changes to reduce fatalities involving pedestrians and bicyclists.
Safe Streets Act is going to do 4 things here in Montgomery County. It's going to prohibit turning on red in our downtown areas, give pedestrians a head start when they're crossing the street, require the county executive to create a plan for more automated traffic enforcement, and it is also going to require analyses of incidents that happen near our schools.
Increased efforts across the region will include a data-driven focus on our high-injury networks, where officers will be issuing citations and warnings to drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists.
Locally, pedestrian and bicyclist deaths spiked by 37% last year. Well, Prince George's County Police are searching for a missing person. He's identified as 80-year-old Louis Gaskins. He was last seen yesterday at around 2:30 on the 5000 block of Suitland Road in Suitland. Gaskin is 5'10", weighs just over 200 pounds. He was last seen wearing dark clothing and carrying a plastic bag. If you see Mr. Gaskins, call police at 301-516-5230. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott. More news in just a bit. Stay tuned.
That fire movement was so fast that by the time I thought we were ahead of it, we were behind it.
Where are you at?
Make sure that you know the dangers of where you live, what the potential natural disasters are. If you think it can happen, plan for it. It will happen.
Welcome back. More than a dozen tax preparers are suspended from processing electronic tax returns in the state of Maryland. 4 of the preparers are located in Prince George's County and have filed questionable returns, according to the Maryland Comptroller's Office. They include Yadoff Financial in Lanham, Rom Aft Tax in Lanham, BAI Mansory in Landover, and PCSCS Tax Services in Oxon Hill. The Comptroller's Office has advised the Maryland Attorney General's Office and Department of Labor so they can take additional action. Well, the Metropolitan Council of Governments forecasts big population growth for the region. COG predicts that the D.C. metro region will add 1.5 million people by 2050. It also forecasts the region will add 1 million jobs. 3 out of 4 new jobs are expected to come from the professional, business, educational, and health services sectors, along with the hospitality industry. With these new numbers, COG officials say the region must also address housing production and affordability. Well, are you itching to get rid of mosquitoes? The Maryland Department of Agriculture has a suggestion. The agency says eliminating standing water on your property will help reduce mosquito populations. It also says the insects are more than just a nuisance because some can carry diseases harmful to humans and animals.
There are a couple of diseases that mosquitoes carry that are present in Maryland. One is Eastern equine encephalitis, which is very focal. There's a couple of focal points on the western shore and a couple on the eastern shore. We do trapping in those areas. Dump the rainwater in your property and on your neighbor's property, then they're very, very unlikely to be a nuisance for you or your neighbor. And so that's what we're advising people to do. And we're just telling them to do it now, because if they wait until July to start doing it, they're already going to have a huge number of adults flying around.
For more information on mosquito management, visit mda.maryland.gov. Well, Governor Wes Moore picks a new leader for the state's Higher Education Commission. He selected Dr. Sanjay Rai as the new acting secretary of the Maryland Higher Education Commission. The board sets statewide policies for public and private universities and for-profit career schools in Maryland. Rai is no stranger to Maryland. He's the former senior vice president of academic affairs at Montgomery College. Well, a bill to reform the state's troubled 529 college plan passed the House of Delegates unanimously Monday night with only hours to spare. The measure effectively ends the state's prepaid tuition plan for state colleges. It also puts the state treasurer in charge of overseeing the system. The legislation now heads to the governor. Well, the city of Mount Rainier has elections coming up in just over 2 weeks. There are currently 2 seats up for grabs. Ward 1 is uncontested. Ward 2 has 3 candidates running. They include Tony George, Tanisha St. Louis, and Valerie Woodall. You can meet and greet the candidates this Saturday from 2 to 4 in the Mount Rainier Community Room. Ballots must be received by 8 p.m. on Election Day, May 1st. And coming up later on the newscast, the Thursday Sports page with Simon Buggs. Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, and coming up soon, the Eleanor Roosevelt softball team blows out Flowers High School, and the Orioles and Nationals both fall to their opponents yesterday. Don't move.
If you don't dispose of the unneeded medications in your home, they might find a new one. They could end up lost, stolen, or simply misused. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back at the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration's National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 22nd. To find a collection site near you, visit DEATakeback.com. Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy.
Hey everyone, it's time for your Thursday Sports page. We'll start with some local softball. The Flowers High School and Eleanor Roosevelt High School softball teams took the diamond yesterday. Eleanor Roosevelt played very well in the game as multiple players had good hits that led to runs. The Raiders offense got going early with this triple in the first inning. In the second inning, this big hit led to an inside the park home run. The Roosevelt bats were hot all day and ended the day with a 22-3 rout of Flowers. Roosevelt's next game will be versus Duval High School tomorrow at 4:30, while Flowers' next game will be against Wise High School tomorrow at 4:30 as well. Switching gears to some MLB action, the Orioles took the diamond yesterday against the Oakland Athletics, but they will fall 8-4. The Birds will be tied with the A's 4-4 after 7 innings, but their defense was struggling in the last 2 innings, with the A's scoring 4 more times to come away with the win. Switching to the Nationals, they also took the diamond yesterday, but lost again to the Angels 3-2. The Nats were tied with the Angels 2-2 after 4 innings, but couldn't score again. The Nats are now 4-9 on the season and will take on the Cleveland Guardians next tomorrow at 7:05. And that is your Thursday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
It's time now for your Pet of the Week. Argentino Mastiff type dog with lots of energy. He's looking for a family to give him love and attention.
He's so young, so he definitely will need someone who's able to make sure that he's exercised in order for him to be the best dog that he can be. But yeah, he's very outgoing, not aggressive at all. Wade is special because he is deaf. So we're working on him, on teaching him a little bit of some commands like sit, stay. He's very much in the learning phase, so but he's a sweetheart. We try to get his attention by touching him. Also, if he's directly focused on us, which does not happen very often because he's just so hyper, we're trying to teach him hand commands.
And if you'd like to adopt Wade or any other animal, call 301-780-7200. Meantime, all adoptions, spay and neuter feeds are free during the entire month of April. Turning now to your weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear with lows around 60 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy during the day with possible nighttime showers, highs near 84 degrees. Saturday, rain likely, highs in the 70s. Sunday, mostly sunny during the day, but rain expected at night, highs around 81 degrees. And for the community calendar, relax and listen to the soulful music of the Urban Guerrilla Orchestra. The Philadelphia group, also known as UGO, will be performing at Harmony Hall April 22nd at 8 p.m. The orchestra has been featured across the world and is the official band of the Soul Train Cruise. Get your tickets through parksdirect.com. And that's our news for tonight. I'm Byron Scott. We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
We had water that was coming up around the houses, and all of a sudden it was just a huge white wall of water that came right at us. And then it was a white after that. You couldn't see anything, nothing at all. We can build these houses in order to withstand 130-mile-an-hour winds. We cannot build them to stop water.